All right, so today I wanted to do a little bit something different and show off my camping setup. So here it is. This is my camper setup. It is a truck bed camper on top of my 2013 Toyota Tundra. So this is a slide-in camper. Basically, you jack these stilts up until there's some space between the bed, and you just basically back it in and then lower it back on there, strap it down, and you're pretty much good to go. You have a full-on RV system. So this is a around 2013, 2014 Fun Haulers truck bed slide-in camper. Don't know the exact model name, don't know the model year. It actually doesn't have a registration because it's not a vehicle. It doesn't have wheels, so there's really no need to register it. I picked it up for about $4,700, give or take a little bit, after putting everything into it. So it was a little bit pricey. I know you can probably buy a decent camper for, well, a little bit more than that, but you get a lot more in that. For this, surprisingly, is actually pretty cheap, all things considered, for truck bed campers, just because they're kind of more of a niche product, and they're a little bit more expensive just because of that. So I'll do a little bit of overview. Right now we're camping. We have a couple friends staying with us at the moment, so they have their tent as well. But here, this is kind of our full-time living quarters that we're using for just the weekend. So just to give a little bit of overview, like I said, slide-in camper. And we actually have it on these jacks right now. Just basically not to put a ton of pressure on it, but to keep the whole rig stable, just when we're walking around and sleeping and everything. We're not, moving all around from the truck suspension. So the way that you actually tie this one down, there's a ton of different options on the market. I know the best, probably most recommended way is actually to do a frame rail mount. So basically there's mounts that come right off your truck's frame rail and attach directly to these mounts. I decided to actually do a little bit different approach and buy these mounts that actually mount directly to the side of your bed. So it's not as a secure an option, but it's definitely a lot more affordable. These were, I think, like 40 or 50 bucks. And then this turnbuckle system that I made, after everything at Lowe's, I think it was like another $30. So less than $100, all things considered, to tie this thing down. And, we were on the road for probably about an hour or two, and we didn't have any issues with it moving around or sliding around or anything like that. So yeah, it's a really good system for what it is, for what it's worth. So pretty proud of it. So stepping around here, this is basically the business end of the camper. So there's a couple things to note. You have a 30 amp plug right here. You have external power. So basically when this is being powered on, you have external power coming out here. So if you wanted to power like a grill or something. And then you have your 7-way plug for your lights. That just hooks up directly to my truck down there. On either side, you have small cavities. These are basically just to make room for the actual wheel wells, but you end up having a little bit of space where you can store like chairs, or in my instance, just a gas tank right here. So that's pretty much the show on this side of the camper. I will note that the camper is roughly around 7 feet long. I believe this truck is a 6.5 foot bed, so it does jut out a little bit from the bed. And of course, you have to have the tailgate down for that. So the tailgate I actually kind of like to have down. It doubles as both a porch and just a place to, work off of and put your shoes on and stuff. So I actually kind of like it. So of course, you're wanting to see inside. So here we go. So don't mind me, this is just my avocado oil. Just keeping that inside. So here is basically the entire camper. Obviously it's pretty small in here. So this is a double bed. This camper was actually originally configured to have a single bed in it. What I had to do is there was a wall here that I actually had to kind of cut down essentially. And there's also spacers right here just to basically keep a single bed in place. I was like, that doesn't make sense. I kind of want a bigger bed. So what I did is I actually put a double bed in. So much more comfortable now. This is just an air mattress. And actually is sitting on a dinette table. So here you can see this is the top of the dinette portion, and then that's actually where the dinette will seat in. There's a pole that goes in between the two, and this raises up probably another foot. So there's 2 cushions on either side, and you can almost fit 4 people, I'd say. 2 is usually the comfortable number, but you could probably fit 4 if you really wanted to. So the bed is obviously the main portion. It's mainly just built for sleeping quarters. There's not much else. There's not a bathroom or anything like that. But there is 2 windows on either side, so these actually pop out. There's screens on them, and all you have to do is just push this out, and it locks into place right here. And obviously there's a curtain if you want that. But pretty cool just to easily open, and you don't have to worry about anything, coming in or anything like that. So really simple. I'll go over to this side first. So up top, you just have a little mini fridge. We don't have anything in it. We just have a cooler at the moment because we're actually boondocking at the moment, so there's no power to the camper. You have a stereo system, just 2 speakers on either side, and then your fuse box. So because we're boondocking at the moment, all around the camper, we actually have these push button lights. They just take AAA batteries. They last a really long time. The camper does have bigger lights, but you have to have these for internal power. So we end up just using the push button lights more. On this side, there is a microwave. We don't really use it much. It's just a 1,000-watt microwave, but you need to be hooked up to power again to use it. But we also just use the campfire, like a gas stove or something like that instead. So down here we have a kind of ugly but very functional portable AC unit. So this is a single vent AC unit. I know that these aren't really the most efficient units, but for this small of a space, it really cools this down really quickly. We're not actually using this at the moment, so we can actually kind of just disconnect it if we want to. But yeah, it's really easy since it's a portable AC unit, and obviously does a really good job just because of the size of the space. So we're pretty happy with it. So that's pretty much the whole interior of the camper. Obviously, it's really small. One of the things about this camper is it doesn't have a bathroom, doesn't have a shower. I found out that most campsites usually have really good showers, really good bathrooms, so it's kind of one less thing to worry about by not having like a black tank or even like a freshwater tank or anything like that, because, dumping and having to fill it every single time you go out, worrying about maintenance for it, like winterizing it, you don't have to do that with this. This is super simple, and you can just use, what amenities are usually available to you. So if you're really out in the country boondocking or something like that, where you don't have access to, any sort of running water or anything like that, I could see where it become a problem. But usually if that's the case, you have a different option, like, a portable cassette toilet or something like that. But this works for now, and it's honestly really easy, really simple to maintain. There's really no maintenance that you have to do besides, every like 10 years you have to do the seals, but that's pretty much every camper. So that is basically the interior of the camper. So why did I get this over a normal camper or something like that? So there are disadvantages and advantages to this. Really the biggest advantages are going to be the ease of use with this. You can basically take it anywhere. So I have an off-road truck, it has 4-wheel drive, and we can go pretty much anywhere. You don't have to worry about backing in a camper to a space. You don't have to worry about, just having an additional thing kind of rocking on the road or anything like that. This actually is super rock solid stable down the highway. I barely even notice it's on. Obviously, it impacts my fuel economy because it's kind of a big sail on the back. But overall, it does really well. It's really easy to drive. Another really cool thing about this, and it actually kind of has to do with the fun hauler's name, is that you can haul your fun around. So obviously with this, you're not towing a camper or anything like that. You can actually tow behind like a boat or another trailer, or basically anything that you want along with this. I've seen people with like their motorcycles on on a trailer or whatever the case may be with these. So that's one of the big advantages of a truck bed camper. One of the last advantages with this is the repairability. So unlike an all-in-one RV where you have to take it to a specialty shop or something like that to actually get it worked on, if it's like an engine issue or something like air conditioning, for example, this is just a Toyota truck. You can take it to pretty much any shop or dealership and get it worked on. So obviously it's a lot easier to work on in that regard. And at the end of the day, it's just a truck. You can use this for pretty much anything else. You could use it as your daily vehicle or your work truck or anything of, I guess, what you want to, because, it is just a pickup truck with a RV on it. So it's definitely very accessible. It's very affordable in the long term. And it's very easy to work on. And that leads me to the disadvantages of a truck bed camper. So obviously the biggest disadvantage of a truck bed camper is the space. So this is like 7 feet by 7 feet, so probably around 50 square feet or so. It's obviously very small. You know, there's no bathroom, there's no sink, there's really no place to put stuff. You basically just have a bed, a couple places to put stuff down, a microwave, a fridge, and that's essentially it. Space is obviously your biggest sacrifice when you're, you know, hauling around one of these things, but it does make up for it in, you know, your versatility. So just kind of a trade-off that you want to have to, you know, think about when you're looking for one of these. The other big thing is when you're leaving this at a campsite, or rather if you want to leave your campsite. So here we're at the campsite right now. We actually have friends staying with us, so we're using their car for, you know, just moving around stuff. But the biggest thing with this is if you want to actually go somewhere, you have two options. So you can either jack this up, pull out from under it, and you're on your way. That process usually takes about 10 to 15 minutes. You have to undo these turnbuckles right here, and then obviously you have to jack it up and then slowly drive under it, and then to put it back on, you're basically just doing that in reverse order. It takes about 15 minutes or so. You just want to make sure everything is tied down right, and make sure that you have enough clearance to, you know, come out from under it. So that's the biggest thing. Or you could obviously just drive away with it. About with a you know, camper or anything like that, or I guess an RV if you have like a pull behind or something like that, you know, you could just drive away, or honestly you probably just want to unhitch it and then just go on your way, which is a lot easier. That takes less than a minute, but that's kind of the one disadvantage with this. But other than that, it's been pretty awesome to deal with. It's super comfortable inside. Obviously it's air conditioned if you want it. In my opinion, it beats a tent, but you know, tent is also perfectly suitable, especially like a 6-person one like that. But this is really easy to use. You don't have to set it up. You basically just get to your campsite and you're good to go. It also has the dinette that I, you know, showed earlier. You know, if you wanted to, like, you know, do some work or something on the weekend. But that's pretty much it. I definitely recommend one of these things, and catch you guys in the next one.